We had about a 2.5-hour drive this morning from the place where we saw the chimpanzees, the hippopotamuses on the beautiful Gambia River. What a time. But we're still kind of headed inland up the Gambia River. We got across and then the border. And I gotta tell you, this is a very remote border up in sort of, I guess it would be eastern Gambia and Senegal. And this has been by far been the easiest border crossing yet. There was no chaos. We pulled up, we were the only ones there. We went in and got signed out. We got our paperwork taken care of. We got in our vehicle. We went up to the Senegal side. There was a police officer there, quickly filled out the paperwork, and same thing with the aduana or customs. Easy peasy. We went from an English speaking country to a French country. So that could have been difficult, but they didn't make it difficult at all. So we're back on the road in Senegal. We won't be here long, to be honest, because we're headed to our next country, the Guinea Conakry. Back in Senegal, and as we've been riding through northern Africa and western Africa, one thing is abundantly clear: these are poor countries, and we can see them building their houses out of various materials, but a lot of them, quite honestly, are made from mud or sticks or gathered materials. There's a lot of brick making, block making on the sides where people will make their own blocks, I'm assuming with some sort of cement material. But in any event, it's pretty poor. And so we learned in the Gambia that the kids needed school supplies. So at the border, Snow went in and bought some supplies. We had some extra Gambia dollars. We wanted to use them up. And because we've been getting beat up by the traders at the border anyway, the money traders. And so we would rather give it to the kids than to those guys. Well, ironically, at this border there was no money exchangers, so we had some money left over. We needed some bananas and some eggs, and so we stopped a little booth. And it always breaks our heart when we see these little kids, and you know, they obviously are sort of needy. I hate to say it like that, but in any event, we gave some of the leftover Gambia money that we had to them, to a couple of the different ladies at the couple different booths with the kids, and to see their face light up. And kind of even as we walked away, as I walked away, Snow was in the truck, in the van, and she said they were just giggling and happy and smiling. And so that really warmed our heart and made us feel good. But we're heading on through Senegal. It's another hot day. We have a stop scheduled in about another 50 kilometers, so not far into Senegal, but it's so hot we may not even stop. We may keep going. I'm not sure, but I do believe we're about to get stopped at another police stop, so let's see. But anyway, we'll catch you. We may make a run for the Guinea border. Not sure yet. We're kind of making it up as we go along today, but it's early in the day and we kind of hate just parking up in this heat, so we're playing it by ear. Another thing, as we've been headed through the Gambia and through Senegal, as we come to these little villages, in a lot of places we're seeing signs where the European Union or other countries are contributing to maybe like little community garden projects, health clinics, schools, and really even some, the WHO is here, the World Health Organization, and we are always proud as world travelers whenever we see the US flag flying at some of these places. And it really breaks our heart knowing the kind of needs some of these communities have, that we're no longer contributing to such worthy cause. So we can only do so much on our journey, but we're certainly going to be conscious of that and try to maybe put a smile on a face or two along the way if we can.
We will do the small things we can throughout, whether it's a handful of lollipops to some kids on the side of the road, or Ziploc baggies or school supplies, whatever we can. Of course, we round up and we tip at everywhere we eat and everywhere we go at every campsite. We are giving back that way. There may be times you see us stop and just do something to help, but we do encourage you to do your own research. If you see some stuff over here that bothers you, there are tons of organizations here helping. So if you feel it in your heart to send some money this way to Africa, then by all means do some research and find a place and do that, because the things we are seeing are so humbling, and the people are so kind, and there has been no ill will towards us, and it's a beautiful country filled with beautiful people. So we do encourage you to do that.
And this is probably a good time to tell you guys that this point of our journey is where the roads generally quality starts to decline. And right now we're on a little washboard gravel road. Now this is not technically challenging or anything like that, but it is really washboardy and kind of vibrates the van and shakes the van, and ultimately ends up irritating us and the cats. But it's totally doable. We've been on roads like this all over in the world. It's, like I said, not the technically scary ones, but believe me, those are coming soon enough. But we still have to worry about dodging the cows and the goats. As we drive through these villages, we're kind of starting to notice some consistencies, particularly in this area, some of which we've seen throughout. But I've already talked a little bit about the homemade bricks or blocks out of mud or some sort of cementitious material. But it's clear that they cook with wood and or charcoal, and so there's big bags of like charcoal that they've made where they burn the wood to make big lump charcoal. and I believe they stack it along the side of the road in big, huge piles of bags, and either a delivery truck will come pick them up. But what we've also seen is the collectivos loaded to the absolute hilt, to the top, like twice as high as the van, with all sorts of various supplies, bags and stuff. We've seen goats, and well, in this particular one in the back, we even saw chickens. And so we see everything like that. But again, most of this is basic substance living.
So, Kurt has kind of been our route planner this last little bit, these last few countries, finding campsites, picking out which roads we're going to take. And when we were leaving a little town, I don't know, an hour and a half, 2 hours ago, where we stopped and bought a few little snacks from the vegetable ladies, he just miraculously said, after many, many, many hours of him driving and me not driving, maybe you drive now. I was like, sure, I'll drive. I've got no problem driving. And then, maybe 20 minutes down the road, the pavement went away. And I have this suspicion that Kurt knew that he was giving up the driving duties right before we hit these crap roads.
The reality is, guys, she always takes us down the worst roads. You know, she's the navigator.
So anyway,
to be fair, this is the main road to the border. This is it. And
that's what I was getting at, guys. This is the only way to go. But it is funny how he offered up the driving right before it happened. But we're almost to where we may camp, or we may just stop for a break. We'll see what it's like when we get there. I do not think we'll make it to the Guinea border today. We'll see if this is our stopping point or if we make it a little farther. But when you get on these dirt roads and you go through these smaller, more rural communities, you get an even deeper look into the culture of a country. So we don't mind it too much, except for it's hard on the kiddies, so we have to go super slow. And we're getting a little bit wore out.
The reason why we are running from rainy season, I don't know if you can see this area right here, but in rainy season that will fill with water and be an absolute muddy, impossible mess for us to navigate. And so along this road, there are spots that have those deep little mud holes, and a lot of them we could probably make it around or through. But some of them, man, it's very questionable. But anyway, it makes for a little rough ride, but we're gonna keep it on, and we're almost there. All right, guys, we're rolling into our spot, and this is our first wild spot in a long time. I don't know if it's our first wild spots when we've been in Africa or not, but it's a little place by a dry lake bed we found down a high Overlander. There's some cattle grazing back here.
Right up there under those trees.
Yep, and there's some shade.
Go over there.
And this will work. So we're gonna find a spot and get parked.